Hello and welcome back to the Helmet Head podcast. And do we have a good podcast for you today? Because I've searched high and low to find 3 modern retro style bikes for under £3,000. And finding bikes for under £3,000 in the current market is really difficult. Prices are shooting up and shooting up. And the modern retro style has just grown in popularity. They're just absolutely everywhere. Now these 3 bikes, I've looked at Auto Trader, Marketplace, eBay, all over the place. But I've decided to pick one platform, and that platform was eBay in the end, because we all like to have a quick search in eBay to find what we can get and what bargains. And these bikes aren't bidding, these bikes are buy it now and you can own it this second. So let's start off with the list. Now this is it. This is the impressive one, starting at number 1 that I found for less than £3,000, a Triumph Bonneville T100 in red, right? A 2001 with 12 months MOT, and the mileage on it is 38,000 miles. Now, just before I tell you what the price of this one is, I've owned a Bonneville. They are proper bomb-proof. The reliability of them is incredible. And the thing of it is, the build quality feels just as good. There's a reason why they've been making Bonnevilles throughout the ages. And to find a Bonneville for less than £3,000 is extremely difficult. That's why I was so impressed with this. You ready for the price of this one? £2,895. To be honest, if I had that in my bank account right now to spend on a bike, I'd be buying that straight out the way. That is the bike I'd buy out of this entire list, because it's got plentiful of power. It oozes power. It's well made. It looks awesome. It never loses that looks. And of course you can customize them with things like the brown seat that make it look really sexy. Some awesome brown bags. Obviously I've got a thing about brown seats and bags and stuff like that. Also make it look really awesome. But there's just loads of customization you can do, and because there's a lot, obviously on the used market, you can get a lot of this stuff secondhand as well, so you can really set this bike up to the way you want it. So that's number 1 on my list. Now number 2, this is where the list starts to get a little bit more interesting. So this bike is a 2018, right? 2018, and it's the Royal Enfield Bullet. This is the key bit, the 500. So it's got that little bit more power. A 2018 price bike for less than, well, let's say less than £3,000. I'm going to tell you the price right now. This one actually came in at £3,000. You can get older for a lot cheaper, but this one proper looked mint. Check this out, right? The mileage is only done 2,230 miles. The MOT, 10 months, right? It comes with loads of extras: custom exhaust, crash bar, rack and side bags. I mean, for £3,000. Now the thing about the Royal Enfield Bullet for me is that basically it's that kind of really that 1940s design that's still on the road today. So if you want that classic old sort of what I call the put kind of ride down the road, the Royal Enfield really has that. Now they are super simple to fix. So they are the bike that you can go, I'll buy it, I'll service it myself, I'll look after it. It's literally a bolt-on, bolt-off bike. Everything about it, including the parts. So even if you drop it and you break, for instance, a clutch lever, you can pick them up for about £17 for a clutch lever. They are the bike that you can buy cheap, look after, buy the parts for, and it will just keep going and going. And for an example, obviously it's an Indian made motorcycle, now originally from the Great British, the United Kingdom, but now it's made in India. But they have literally kept the same design pretty much throughout its entire life. Obviously things have been added to it, like fuel injection, etc. But they ride them over the Himalayas. They ride them absolutely everywhere in India, packed up with an incredible amount of gear, and they just keep going. They are super impressive. And one of my biggest dreams of it always was to fly to India, buy a Royal Enfield Bullet 500. That's the key thing, the 500, it's that little bit more power, and ride it all the way back to the UK. That was always my dream. But currently over on the main Helmet Head channel, the big channel, I'm currently riding the world on a Honda Monkey Bike 125. So I'm going to get to India on a 125, which is probably even more awesome. But anyway, if you want that real classic 1940s bike, That's a bargain. In my opinion, it's a bargain. Yes, the build quality can lack a little bit, but look after it. Make sure you spray it in ACF 50 over the winter. Keep it clean, keep it tidy, and you know it's going to go absolutely forever. And if it does go wrong, you just buy a part because it's so cheap. So that's number 2 at £3,000. I did say less, but I'm sure you can let me off for the bags and all the extras you're going to get with it. That's worth a considerable amount more. Now the third, this is the underdog. This is the underdog that most people either haven't heard of or wouldn't think about, right? And this is, you ready for it? Are you ready? Mash Roadster 400, right? And if you've not heard of this bike, it's quite interesting, and they're coming on quite fast and quite quick. But bear with me, because you instantly go, I've never heard of that, it'll just be some rubbish engine in it. No. This has a 400 Honda engine in, so your reliability is already there. Fair enough, it's an old 400 engine, but it has its reliability, it's proven. So you can buy a Mash Roadster 400 2015 plate with a mileage of 4,500. That is nothing. With 8 months MOT, right? How much do you reckon for? How much? Right, you can get this for £1,595. Buy it now. How crazy is that? You've basically got just under half your budget left to customize it, buy yourself new kit, and it looks cool with the Honda engine. You are laughing, and it actually produces 27.6 horsepower. What is, again, it's not going to win any races. Yes, it'll probably end up beating the Royal Enfield, to be completely honest with you, but it's not going to win any races. The Royal Enfield, the thing about the Royal Enfield and also the Mash is that they are really your Sunday weekend rider bike. I say that though in such a way that any bike though could be an adventure bike. You can go anywhere and do anything. If you've got the determination, you can do it on a 50cc scooter. You could ride across the whole of England on it. If you want to, you can do it, and you can make these bikes do it as well. But all 3 of them, £3,000 or less, is just incredible. Now, I started off with this list by saying actually I'd buy the Triumph Bonneville, because I have, like lots of people, I'm very much into Triumph. I think they're absolutely stunning bikes. I really want to try it. I want to try a Mash now. I know this sounds daft. I want to try a Royal Enfield Bullet 500, and I want to own a Mash. I want to see what I could do with that bike as well. But there you go. All 3 motorcycles, all for £3,000 or less. You're absolutely laughing, and they've all got their own cool look to them as well. So let me know in the comments which one out of those 3 would be the one that you would actually buy. Which would be your golden choice? I'll be dead interested to read them. And also, if you own one of these and you've got any thoughts about them, especially obviously the Royal Enfield and the Mash, because I've not owned one, let me know as well in the comments. That'd be absolutely awesome. Now, I always like to do a quick news update on the main Helmet Head channel. There is links for that down in the show notes, the description, and you can click on it at the end of this video to subscribe to it as well. We've recently come back from a Patreon meeting. We've had an absolute giggle, and it was fantastic. There was 16 of us. We were riding across Wales. It was literally a 2-nighter but 1 day of riding event, and we had a fantastic time. I just want to thank everybody yet again that supports me by joining Patreon and being part of the exclusive Helmet Head Club. I really appreciate it. I'm not a fan of camping, by the way. I want to make that clear. When you watch videos, you'll see I'm not a fan of camping. But we've just completed that. So next, coming up over on the main channel, we have a comms review and also an auxiliary light review still to come before we head out and fly back and do our next part of a world trip, what's going to be the long way to Gibraltar. That's pretty much all the news we've got on the channel at the minute. Things are changing, happening all the time. So next week, hopefully I'll be able to update you with some more. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please don't forget to make sure that you have either subscribed if you're on a thing, left a 5-star review if you're listening to it on Apple, and I'm giving it a thumbs up, of course, and share it with a friend if you're watching the live video version. All of that is done and dusted now, so I'm going to see you in the next podcast next week. You take care, ride safe, and have fun. Bye bye for now.